This is my journey. My name is Kenyon Youssef Sproul, and this is my journey to how I became Muslim and my journey to Islam. Um, in the beginning, I can start off and say that nobody in my family is Muslim. I'm the only one in my family that I know of that's Muslim. All my family was basically Christians at the time when I was born, and they claimed Christianity, basically. So I remember as a little child, or I guess I was 6 or 7, I remember asking my father, to my mother, and I asked my mother, I said, what religion are you? On Easter, we would sometimes dress up, get dressed, but we never really went to church a lot. Basically, they were non-practicing Christians, I should say. So in other words, I would be free and practice whatever I wanted to practice. I never said to myself, okay, they never made me say, okay, you're a Christian, or they never gave me any religion. So what I did as I grew up and I became a teenager, about 17 years old, I remember wondering, like, I'm searching for a religion. I remember searching, and I used to practice different religions. Not practice them, study them. I was always studying. I studied Rastafarianism, Rastafaris, because I was like into Bob Marley and Jamaicans, and that was like a thing to try to study about that. At the time, I was studying ancient Egyptian religions from Egypt, like the Ankh and like ancient pharaohs. And I was studying, trying to kind of see what their religion was about. So in other words, I was searching for something. Christianity didn't do it for me. Judaism, I studied that didn't do it for me. I tried to, like I said, Rastafarian, and even my dad was in the food, so I would even look into like Shaolin monks and Buddhism, and none of it really. So I kind of like didn't know where I wanted to be. So I said, okay, my parents were Christians, so I guess I'll just kind of try to follow religion, or much as I can. I really didn't have an example what to follow. So in my neighborhood, it was kind of a rough neighborhood. Right here in Norristown when I was coming up, Willow Street, which is a block away from here. 1 block away, it was very rough in the 90s. Late 90s, early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, they were selling drugs, a lot of guns, a lot of fighting, a lot of things were going on right 1 block away from here. And it was not the best town. And I remember I saw this lady, and she was a Muslim lady. I didn't know at the time. And I was into into the guns, into the drugs, selling the drugs and stuff like that. And I saw this majestic lady. She's walking, and she had full niqab, and she was walking down the street, right through, right in the hood, right in our bad neighborhood, in our bad block. We call it our block. And she just walked through. Nobody bothered her. Nobody ever said anything. And it was always like, what was that? She was mysterious to me. So one day I saw her coming, and she would go to work or wherever she went, and she would come back. And she had a grace about her. And one day I got the courage to ask her. I said, excuse me, ma'am, what is your religion? And she said, Islam. And the light, I was like, wow. She didn't have any fear of walking through us, and we had guns on us. It was a pretty rough situation. So that kind of like, oh, that's amazing. I was like, okay, I want to learn about this Islam. So as time went on, some years went past. I think I was about 18 years old. And I got in some trouble with the law. And I had to do like about 3 months in jail. But it ended up only having to do about 2.5 months. And I thought it was the end of the world. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to jail. I'm 18 years old, young boy, I don't know. And I had this cellie, my cellmate, he was about 450 pounds. It seemed like real big dude. What it was, I still didn't know anything about Islam or Muslims or anything. We went to the library. We all had library. I went to the library, and I'm looking for a book. I'm saying, okay, I'm in jail. I got to do this time. I got to find something to read. So what I picked up was a book like this, all in English, not Arabic. It was a Quran, sort of like, basically just like this, all in English. And I took it back to my cell, and I started reading it. And I was reading it, it captivated me. There was something about it. And it wasn't in Arabic, even the English. Because I was never one to actually read a book. This is fairly thick. I would never read a novel or any kind of books. I was a magazine type of guy. I would flip to a magazine, that was it. But this Quran, when I started reading it, I couldn't stop reading it. And I kept reading it all the way through. And I said, this is it. This is what I'm looking for. after all the searching for religion and all the different religions I tried, Judaism, Islam was the one. I said, this is what I'm looking for, just right from the English. So I could say that Quran. Then so I said, so this was it. So I started studying more. I started learning more. Started reading Hadith and learning Arabic. And I wasn't Muslim at the time. Still, I didn't take Shahada. I still was learning. And actually, maybe 2 or 3 years after that, teaching people Islam, because I knew enough about it. I studied a lot of Hadith, a lot of the Quran, a lot of things about Islam, about the religion. I was teaching religion to Muslims before I was Muslim. And then the people, one day I said, okay, this is it. I got to take Shahada. So, Imam, I said, I want to take Shahada. They was like, what? What do you mean you want to take Shahada? You're teaching us Islam, not even Muslim? I said, yeah, I'm not Muslim, but I never took Shahada before. I was praying and do all the Muslim things, but I wasn't Muslim at the time. So I finally took Shahada at about the age of 22, which would be about 30 years ago. I just turned 52. And it's been a rough road up and down. Islam is not easy. It's a simple, very simple religion, but it's not easy. So I went through ups and downs, and we all do it. We all, go through ups and downs. And one day I just decided, I don't want to play around with the religion. I was kind of like playing. I still want to be Muslim. I wasn't turning back to Christianity or other religion. That was out of the question. But I said, I want to just do this wholeheartedly, because I wanted to smoke weed sometime. I want to do this and that, play around with like women and stuff like that. But I wasn't 100% submitting myself to the will of Allah. And so one day I just said, I just dropped everything, quit smoking cigarettes, quit smoking marijuana. I left alcohol alone, didn't want to mess around anything anymore. I said, I'm going to do this religion. And that's what I started. And that was about, I don't know how many years ago now. But it just changed me. And the law, when you put everything aside, you make mistakes, don't get me wrong. We all make mistakes, we all sin. But we're quick to repent or repent to Allah, and He'll forgive our, He'll forgive our mistakes. And once you really want to submit yourself 100% to Allah, Allah puts things in your life. I became rich. Allah made me rich. Even though it's not always with money. Allah gave me things that's coming out of the blue. Right now I have about 7 cars. I don't know where they came from, but Allah gave them to me. And I was able to make a business, halal business, by not selling drugs. I sell cars. I rent cars out. I do moving jobs. I do recycling. Anything halal I do, and Allah has made me rich like that. So that's pretty much my journey to Islam. And the main thing, I come to the Salah 5 times a day if I can make it, if I'm around. And I don't live far away from here, and I just work for myself. So Allah provided me a way to halal work for myself. I don't have to work for anybody else. I have my own business, and I've been doing it for the last 5 or 6 years now, and it's doing pretty good. So that's pretty much my journey to Islam. I missed some things, but it's basically reading the Quran, and after searching for so many different years, and Islam is just the truth. It's the haq. It doesn't have any contradictions. And after 30 years, I don't find anything in Islam. If anybody go to other religions, you're going to find a lot of contradictions. It's not going to be 100% true. So that's all basically what I have to say, how I became Muslim, and how, inshallah, I continue to stay on this path, and it is the truth. Do that.
I have some questions for you, please. The first question is, when you accept Islam, when you took Shahada, normally people in this situation, it's hard for them. It's, when they revert to Islam, it's like your life,
right.
Some obstacles. Did you face something like this in Germany?
When I first converted to Islam, it wasn't really hard for me per se, because I knew exactly what I was doing. Like I said, I was teaching the deen of Islam before I was a Muslim. So I was studying, and I made sure it was the right thing I wanted to do. It wasn't a quick conversion. So to me, when I wanted to convert, everybody always thought I was Muslim anyway, because I was offering the prayers. I was, fasting. Muslims do, I was doing it without having Shahada. So for me, it was pretty easy. The hard part is living out here in the dunya. Living the life of Islam is not easy in the environment I grew up in. It's pretty tough. We got non-believers in this country. So you're Muslim, you want to be Muslim, you got a lot of influence from shaitan and non-believers and other people. So that's the hard, and I feel that's hard for a lot of Muslims nowadays, even now to this day. You got such influence. You got bars and stuff on every corner, and a lot of alcohol is being sold right now, like as compared to like a Muslim country.
Okay, so what's your advice for someone who think about Islam and didn't decide it? What is the advice that you give to him or her to take this step? Because some of them think about, oh, I will change my religion, or become Muslim, I will face all the problems with the society, with my family, my friends. So what's the advice? I think it could be useful.
Basically, the most advice I can give, and this was when I started really learning it, is Tawheed. We had a book by Bilal Phillips called Tawheed, and the oneness of Allah is the main thing that kept me on the right path. So the advice I would say to a person that's trying to learn or become Muslim, learn who Allah is, and learn who Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is. And that's how a lot of people that I know of became Muslim by learning the seerah of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and how he changed people in Saudi Arabia. The main thing about Islam to me is it has to be Tawheed. That's the main thing I can tell you. Tawheed, learn Tawheed, the different aspects of Tawheed. Tawheed is what Tawheed isn't. And you learn that, you learn who Allah is.
You mean the oneness of Allah?
The oneness of Allah.
Monotheism.
Yes, in his attributes. And you know, Rububiyyah, Ululiyyah, Asma wa Sifat. Learning that. If you have a question.
Yeah, Alright, so when you became Muslim, right, how did your family or people around you cool? Did they start to like act different around you, or did they accept it?
At first, when I first became Muslim, since they saw that I was really, really serious and wasn't playing around it, they accepted it. And my mother, I remember my mother, the one that's Baptist, I said it was a Baptist, she used to tell me, make sure you eat a lot because Ramadan's coming. I don't want you to get skinny during Ramadan. Make sure you eat all your food now because you got to fast. She said when Ramadan was coming. And I remember praying while my mother's around. She'd like listen to me or recite the Quran as I'm praying off in Salat. She said, oh, you learn how to do it. I said, Allah makes the Quran easy for us to learn. So I gave her Quran with the Arabic and English before she passed away. But my family, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, my brothers, everybody didn't give me any kind of problems that I was Muslim. It was mostly the people I knew, my friends on the street. You went to jail, are you Muslim now? People say that. And that wasn't the case with me. It wasn't the jail that was Muslim. It's the Quran that made me a Muslim while I happened to be in jail when I read it. So that's the answer to that question. Any more questions? Another question?
Was there any physical, like, because I know when I became Muslim, I had, it was a moment where I just started crying. Did you ever cry when you got like that first we got like something open your heart?
Yes. He said, brother asked me, did I ever cry being Muslim? Many a time. Especially at night when I'm praying, the night prayers. It's always, I could really get close to Allah. It's dark, and I notice at times He's very close. I know that in my mind. So a lot of times I've cried during prayer and being really close, and He's opened my heart many times. There was one time, remember, I'm Muslim now, and I'm living in Pottstown actually. And I remember fasting during the month of Ramadan, and I didn't have any money. I didn't get any money at the time. I didn't have a job. So at the time, I'm fasting. I'm like, how am I going to break fast? I don't have anything to eat. I don't have anything to drink. A lady that I don't even know, well, I kind of knew her a little bit. She's very stingy with money. And it was time to break fast was coming up. The sun was almost about to set. And this lady, for some reason, give me money. I didn't ask her, give me money. Say, here, take that. get yourself something to eat or what you might want. Just out of the blue. Because I didn't have anything to break fast with. So the money she gave me, I was able to get something to eat and drink to break fast, and that touched my heart real heavy. Because the lady was not a lady to give anything away. She was very miserly, very stingy. So I know that came from Allah, 100%. And that brought tears to my eyes to this day, but think about it. Many occasions, I remember praying and just the real, how serious and how real Islam is, it will make you cry a lot of times.
I still have some questions.
Yes.
So, most of people when they revert to Islam, they say the friends, they have bad effect
Right.
on them. Some of them return back to kufr,
Yes.
return back to disbelief or to atheism, whatever, or to their previous life because of their friends.
Right.
Alhamdulillah, you are protected from this. So, what advice you give to people who have you want to decide to become Muslim, but they can't because of the effect of the friends,
Yes.
or the people who already revert, but maybe their friends are affecting them badly?
That's very, very good question. Because in Islam, if you, it's an old saying in America, birds of a feather flock. And that means if you hang around with the same people, you're going to be doing the same eventually. They'll eventually pull you back to doing what you're used to doing. Because the human being, our human nature is we want to do what we're used to doing. Even though our mind says, okay, I know that's wrong, we still want to do it because it makes us feel good. So the best advice is you have to make a new circle of friends. You have a lot of Muslims. Obviously, you're going to still see people from your past. I still see, up to this day, I still see a lot of people from my past. But they know I don't hang with them to do what they do. They do what they do. I go away. I walk away from them. I still say hi. I'm still nice. Because maybe one day they might ask me a question that I can answer that may become Muslim themselves. So I don't want to totally cut them off, but I don't want to have circle anymore of maybe drinking or gambling, whatever they may do. That's un-Islamic. You want to try to get away from that and hang around the Muslims and the brothers. And the main key to that for me is come to the masjid for the 5 times a day, or if I can make it.
So, about this point, inshallah, because mostly, mashallah, you are here most of the time in the prayers, even Fajr prayer. Unfortunately, a lot of Muslim community around the masjid, even people like from Muslim countries who migrated here, mostly they don't come to the masjid. We don't see them in the masjid. For a reason, or most of them they don't have enough excuse. We have some of our brothers here who are sick.
Right.
But although they are sick, they come to the masjid with their sickness, inshallah. But otherwise, we have a lot of Muslims who are fine in health,
Yes.
but they don't come to the masjid. So, what I think that, mashallah, it's a gift from Allah, it's a guidance from Allah, that Allah just guided you to come. What I think that helped you so much to come to the masjid, and also what your advice for the Muslim that want them to come to the masjid.
What makes me come to the masjid the most, I'm going to be honest with you, is on the day of resurrection where there will be no, one of the things that a person comes to the masjid and his heart is tied to the masjid, we all may know, or some may not know, that Allah will give us shade on a day that there's no shade, for a person's heart is connected to the masjid. So that's what makes me come, because there will be a day where I'm going to need the shade of Allah, and we all will. So any kind of way I can get that, I'm going to force myself to come to the masjid. Another thing, I'm very close. Since some brothers are further away, it's becoming a little harder. There's really no excuse for me, because I'm 5 minutes away by car. I could make it. If I wanted to walk, it was about 15 minutes. So basically, it's the deen for the man. Each man, the best prayer, 27 to 28 times better. That's one reason. Instead of praying at home, I want the 28 more blessings. I need all the blessings I can get. I need the shade of Allah. And plus, it's the dean of Al-Islam to pray in congregation with the men for the man. And then the sunnahs I pray at home. So most of the time you won't see me pray sunnahs here because the second best prayer is the prayer at home for the man. And that's the sunnah. I pray my sunnahs at home. So I'm trying to, mashallah, I'm trying to get all the blessings I can get while I have a chance, while I'm still here.
Jazakallah khairan. Inshallah, a lot of Muslims who are accepting Islam, especially in America in general, and especially here in our community around the masjid, are from African America.
Right.
And we cannot reach to them. I mean, we don't know them. I'm the imam here, but I know them. Sometimes I meet them in the streets, in the gardens, malls, or wherever, in different places. And I invite them to come to the masjid, but they don't. And I don't know the way how to reach to them. Do you have any advice about this?
That's a very, very good question. I know a lot. You just came here basically. I've been here for a long time. I know a lot of Muslims. Probably Brother Najee knows a lot that they Muslim, but they don't come to the masjid. And you know one of the main reasons why people won't come to the masjid, Muslim and not, Muslims are foreign and here already, because of sin. When you sin, it makes you not kind of want to come to the masjid. So that's the main reason I could say and the thing is, it's such a shame because if you come to the masjid and offer the salah, help you with your sin. Yeah. It's going because Allah can forgive you if He chooses to, and then you feel better about yourself. What happens is shaitan makes it a snowball effect. You don't come once, okay, you can pray at home. You'll start off little things. Next thing you know, you're not coming at all. So, like I said, Allah made this deen, and it's simple. Like I said, it's very simple. Do what He says, and it'll work for you. If you make sin, still come to masjid for the man. Not talk about the women because women can pray at home. Actually, their best prayer is at home. But for the people around the community, I see a lot of them. They're drinking. They want to get high. That's it's almost like a fad nowadays. They want to do the drugs, and that's going to make them fall deeper and deeper and deeper into a hole, especially around this community. For me, when I stopped drinking, I stopped trying to do the drugs, I was able to have a clear mind to know what to do to come to the masjid. Because in the back of my mind, okay, I did an intoxicant. Now my prayers are not accepted for 40 days. That's the discouragement. You don't even want to do the prayer, even though you still have to do it. I see that the people in the community now, if they have to stop some type of way, get some help with the drugs and alcohol, that's a big problem. And it's going to stop them from wanting to come to the masjid.
Okay, Jazakallah khairan.
What you say?
Then a question about da'wah. What's the best way to give da'wah in this community according to your experience, living here for years? What the best way to talk to people, to reach to people, to explain Islam to people? What the best way or the best ways?
My best way to give da'wah, he asked, is through example. For me, when they see where I came from, a lot of people in non-Muslim alike, they say, well, we know where you've been, we know how you used to be, and we see the change in you. For me, that's the best da'wah, by example. And then it opens questions. Sometimes they'll say, well, I have people, well, what did you do to be? How were you able to stay on the deen? How were you able to, and that's the best way. So it opens up an avenue for questions by doing the right thing and trying to do my best. If I try to do my best and they see the change in me, and it's clear as day. I was a rough character. Y'all look at me now, say, okay, but you probably wouldn't want around me in about 10 years ago. I was pretty bad. I will shoot you, I'll kill you, I might, stab you, whatever. I wasn't the nicest person. So Islam has changed my life, and the people see that, and that's da'wah I can see for me for right now.
Jazakallah khairan. Maybe it's the last question. A lot of Muslims here, and everywhere as well, but maybe it's mostly, a lot of people, they don't understand Islam. We don't have, even Muslims, when they accept Islam, they don't have the correct understanding of Quran, for the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the relationship between people, between men and women, you know, they are like horrible examples.
Right.
So, how do you deal with this? I mean, according to your experience, because young people need like protection
Now,
from doing bad things,
Right.
especially in this, because you know someone had a haram relationship with a woman, so this of course will affect him very bad, and will have very bad effect on his life. So, what's the best protection? What's your advice?
the answer that question, I think they have to relearn their religion, learn the Deen of Islam, and the proper way to understand the understanding of the Deen. Because like you said, if you don't understand it, you're not going to be able to practice it. You might go, because there's many paths. A lot of people practice bid'ah. I see nowadays a lot of bid'ah nowadays. And you have to maybe surely get with some good scholars, good shit, to learn to practice Islam. I found that people here in America and from Muslim countries also. I see a lot of that that is not according to the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And I think to answer that question, learn the proper to practice Islam. Learn the proper aqidah. Aqidah is very important. And aqidah is one of the most important aspects of Islam. Because without the proper understanding, without the proper way to believe, you're going to be astray. And the shaitan don't have you. Watch that.
I have no question.
I know. We're going to ask you the rest of the question personal, one-on-one.
So, if you want me, if you are ready, I can give you one or two more questions. We don't have problem with this.
One more question.
Okay.
Inshallah.
So I want to talk about racism.
Say it again?
Racism.
Racism.
Racism. Yeah,
Racism.
Racism. Because you know that Alhamdulillah, the teaching, all the teaching in Islam, the Quran, the teaching of the Prophet Muhammad is against racism.
Yes.
But in some Muslim communities, we find some people who have this like disease
Yes.
in their heart. May Allah protect us from this. And one of the best things in Islam that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made us one nation, we are all brothers. We are all worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. Did you find this in your community, here in this community, or in your life?
Yes.
And what is the best solution for it?
That's a good question. I'm gonna just give you what came to the top of my head. As far as he said about racism in Islam, in this community or anywhere else, I feel some type of racism sometime, or a lot of time, mostly all the time, when we're offering the salah. And I see this a lot. And we're shoulder and heel to heel, I feel like the person don't want to be touching me. Like, because the sunnah is to be close and actually touching, and when we're in the salah. And if a person from another country, from wherever he's from, he's like backing, I'm getting closer to him, and he's backing away, that's racism to me. And it feels like, because the shaitan is making our heart different. So it might not be, I hope this is like, to me, that's the kind of racism I feel in a lot of communities where I go. And I don't know why people don't want to, have our hearts close together as brothers. Without racism, I don't mind touching you, you don't mind touching me, but to put something in there and say, okay, get away from that brother, y'all separate, get away from him. So that I feel like, oh man, he don't want to be around me. Why? I don't know if it's because of what, do I stink? You think I'm going to bite him? I don't know. But that's the racism I feel in the community itself. As far as outside of the community, I don't see it much. I don't see much racism. As far as people, maybe they won't talk about it. But it's a shame that I feel more racism inside the community doing here. So I think it's very important that we stay shoulder to shoulder heal close together as brothers so we won't be divided, so our hearts won't be divided. And we say it all the time, and before the prayer, we say it all the time, get close, but still people don't want to be close. That's the racism I see.
I have an explanation for this point because according to some opinion of some scholars, that this sunnah, it's not like fard or obligatory thing.
Right.
So maybe people, some people like careless.
Right.
Some, maybe some of them have had this disease or this problem with their heart, but maybe some of them they don't understand.
Right.
Or they don't understand how it's very important.
Right.
How it's very important. When Prophet give us any advice, it's very important. He's
Right.
not giving us any advice or any sunnah to bother us or give us heavy thing, but it's for our happiness,
For our own good.
our guidance,
For our
us,
guidance,
to
yeah.
guide us to the best. So, in fact, resistance is one of the diseases that Prophet Muhammad in many occasions and many situations were trying his best to stop it in any situation. It's a very bad thing, and it's kind of jahiliyyah. When some of the companions made it with other companion, he said, إِنَّكَ مُؤْمِنٌ فِيكَ جَاهِلِيَّةٌ. It's kind of jahiliyyah. Jahiliyyah is the works or the deeds of the disbelievers before Islam, the ignorance people or the arrogance. So it's kind of arrogance and ignorance. May Allah protect us from this. And sadly, we see such situations in Muslim communities. But inshallah, we'll try to. We are all trying. We need to advise each other, and we need to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have better understanding of the Quran and the Sunnah. Jazakallah khairan. Thank you so much for advice and for anyone like others. You have questions?
Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. I was wondering, do you have any advice for masjids in terms of maybe being more welcoming of converts? Different converts in certain masjids are not the most welcoming, so I was curious if you had some advice for. I think this masjid is an exception to other masjids.
That's kind of strange. That's a good question. I never really experienced a masjid that's not welcoming to converts. Like you said, I've been around this community, and we have people from all the world here, which is great. There are some masjids I've been to. I don't know. I'm not going to say the names of the masjid. I'm just say like out maybe think about I was at Lansdale, or I've heard brothers telling me just from different people from different countries. When they see a person of another nationality, they kind of like, are you Muslim? They kind of don't know if they're Muslim or not. But I never really experienced the fact that welcome converts to Islam. We're very welcome as far as what I experienced. My other masjids, I don't know how I couldn't even imagine why someone would be non-welcoming to a new convert. That's your opportunity to probably help and get from teaching them even a small amount of Islam that you know. So I never really experienced that situation here or anywhere else. Okay, alhamdulillah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت وأستغفرك وأتوب إليك. جزاك الله خيرا.
I think we have both like dinner. I hope that we will inshallah find something in the other activity. Assalamu alaikum.
You want to stop the recording?